Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I had a thought and just wanted to share it with you. Before I kind of get rocking and rolling with my daddy duties and whatnot. But I had a good conversation. With, I guess, my basketball mentor. Just fixing the stand. Okay, there we go. So I was having a good conversation about basketball, and we were talking about the art form of being a coach and how, as a coach, you're constantly contradicting yourself. That's a part of the process, right? You're constantly contradicting yourself. What you thought was good for footwork in 2017 might be different in 2018. You know, what you thought about shooting in 2016 might be different than what you thought about in 2018, and in 2020 you might learn something else about shooting. Maybe you thought the ball needed to come off of the index finger and maybe the middle finger, or maybe it needed to come off the palm or something. Who knows? But you're just constantly kind of contradicting yourself, or you're constantly going back to what you were talking about last year and trying to see if it applies this year and see if there's any way that you can improve that concept. And so then, as I think about that, I was looking at something that I wrote in my book. And so when I talk about how do you move past these moments in life and how do you find the meaning within these moments, I wrote, you have to acknowledge the situation, you have to accept it, you have to accept it, you have to appreciate it, so then you can accelerate beyond it. And so even when I was writing, and then some of the times in which I spoke about it, I would always try to distinguish the difference between acknowledgement and acceptance. And they ended up sounding very similar. And really, once I got done talking about it, I never felt truly satisfied with my definition. And then something happened, and then I realized that acceptance really meant accepting accountability and responsibility for your own happiness. So in the process of making sense of life's highs and lows, peaks and valleys, the conclusion I came to, you not only have to acknowledge the situation, but then you have to accept accountability for responsibility for your happiness. And at that point, you have to appreciate it. You have to find the meaning in it. You have to kind of fall in love with what you've went through intentionally to find the meaning in it. And then once you find the meaning, that piece of goodness, right? You can throw away all the crap, all the waste, and move on with your life. The point I'm trying to make is success, knowledge, wisdom, it's an art form. It's an art form. It's not a science. If it were a science, that means that you can do X, Y, and Z, and you'll become smart. You'll become exactly what you want by following this process, right? I think on some level, you know, if you were going to get your law degree, if you were going to be a doctor of some sort, if you were going to be an electrician, you know, some things require these steps to take place in this order, right? But I think in life, a lot of things come down to it being an art form. And so you have to be willing to grow every year, grow every month, grow every season, grow every week, grow every day, grow every second. And you have to be willing to acknowledge that what I learned yesterday, I may need to kind of revisit that, right? And you may revisit it and feel and realize that today it still works. What I learned yesterday works today. But there are going to be times when you're going to say what I learned yesterday does not apply to today. And I have to make some adjustments. And then the next day, you may realize that what you learned yesterday needs some adjusting. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it does work, so on and so forth. But understand that success is an art form. And in every stroke of this masterpiece that you're painting, or this masterpiece that you're sculpting and shaping, every action, every stroke, every adjustment will not be perfect. And you may see something today, you may come back to it several days later, and you may say, I don't like that, I want to change it, I want to adjust it, I want to move it over just a little bit, I want to adjust this, I want to add some more color over here, some more color over here, and then before long, I have it. But I think the reality, not the reality, but the thing that you also have to realize is that this is an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process that's going to take place throughout the course of life. And I think as long as you're living, as long as you're working towards something significant, something special, as long as you're working toward a purpose-driven life or a life driven by purpose, you're always going to be revisiting what you once thought was true and deciding and figuring out if it is still indeed true, or if it is maybe not all the way true, or if it is completely false. So enjoy life, enjoy the opportunity to learn, enjoy the process of becoming more knowledgeable, more intelligent, more wise, right? And understand that all of it is an art form in which you will constantly be revisiting what you've learned to make sure that it still is relevant. So that's my calling card. The kids are about to go crazy. I'm done. Mar Fox.